What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a sports reporter, also someone who is a casino host. I love doing this podcast, bringing on different people of not only that's in my industry of journalism, but different occupations talking about their why. We have a special guest that's coming on today. Her name is Dawn White, affiliated with 11 Alive, which is Atlanta, Georgia, which I'm very familiar with. That's where I graduated from, got my undergrad at Kennesaw State University. So we're going to talk to her about her why, some of her favorite stories, and ask her some fun questions. So without any further ado, I bring to you the wonderful, the beautiful, the talented Dawn White. Hey, Dawn, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Oh, the rough. I'm sorry about that. Being a
Okay.
little late behind that. I had a call from my father that I had to take, so I was trying to hurry up and get that. But also my Zoom was messing up too. So, but nonetheless, I got you on here, and I'm very happy to have you on here. Thank you for coming on to my podcast. I really do appreciate it. How's your day going so far?
So far, so good. It's my Tuesday is my Sunday in the
Mm,
journalism world. So have a big thing of pot roast back there that I made for the week.
okay, okay. Pot roast in the slow cooker, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Let me reiterate to you before I start peppering you with all these questions of why I wanted to have you on. Obviously, you're associated with 11 Alive as a multimedia journalist. I'm a reporter as well. So we cover stories for a living. I love listening to other people's stories of how they came into journalism, who they are, and what they're about. I saw your reel from last year. You had some really, really interesting stories.
Thank you.
Obviously, no question, no doubt. One of the ones that stuck out to me, unfortunately, was a tragic one. Was the barbershop one? If you remember that one,
Mhm.
where you went to the barbershop and interviewed that lady that was cutting hair. I'm very familiar with that shop as well because when I lived in Duluth, I went there to get my hair cut, so I understand that. So no question. Absolutely. So you do such an amazing job of differentiating the stories because you had a football story in there, you had that story in there as well. The story that probably hit home for me the most was the Arbery story, which we all know about from years ago. That was just some great reporting that you did, and I love talking to reporters who are passionate, as I am about this industry because you have to be really because
Oh,
the
yeah,
money.
100%. Or you you won't
Right. Right, absolutely. So I love that about you, and I really do appreciate you coming on. My first question that I always have with everybody that I jump on here with is, what is your why? What is the why you do what you do? Was there any role models growing up? Was there any people that you wanted to inspire to be? That you always know you wanted to be a journalist, or some people say it kind of fell into their lap by accident. So, what is your why?
It definitely didn't fall into by accident. This might sound kind of cliche,
Hmm?
but I knew that I wanted to do news at age five. So
Wow.
my grandparents would babysit me every night. I would watch the local and the evening news with my grandma.
Hmm.
This was in Virginia Beach, and we would talk about the stories, what we thought was interesting on the stories, what we liked about it, what we didn't like. So from 5 to 7, I was watching news with my grandma. So at
Wow.
5, I said, that's really cool. I want to do that. I want to be able to tell stories too. The main why, which is also going to sound cliche,
Hmm.
but the passion behind the why is being able to help people and animals as well as people and
Hmm.
to bring about change. So the Arbory, I know we'll get into that later. That was a very rewarding but tragic thing to cover. And even, with the emotions of it, it
Sure.
led to the first federal hate crimes conviction in the state of Georgia. So being
Yep.
able to give the family a voice to talk, to be able to follow that change when it was happening. And I mean, that's the main thing, is giving people a voice.
Like I said, that was some very, very good reporting. I was still living in Georgia at that time. And mind you, obviously looking back at that, anybody who doesn't have any kind of like empathy or striking emotion from looking at that incident that happened, I mean, I don't know what to say to you. Because I still look at it and still get pretty pissed off looking at that, as most people probably would. You went to University of Maryland, if I'm not mistaken, so you're a terrapin.
I am.
Yes,
You're the
indeed.
term.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's talk about were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going to University of Maryland?
So that was kind of interesting situation that I was in.
Mhm.
So I had a son pretty early
Okay.
at 19,
Okay.
and wanted to stay in the Pennsylvania, Maryland area to be close to family and close to a support system. So I knew it would be in college in one of those states. And when I was in college on the weekend, I hostessed at the Purple Orchid, which was a French and sushi restaurant in downtown Baltimore.
Wow. Okay.
Camila Carr came in, who was an anchor with WBAL. Told her my situation. I was in community college at the time, and that I was looking to transfer somewhere good. And she said, go to University of Maryland, because they're a top 10 journalism school
Mhm.
in the country. And I'm very happy that I went there, because even I was there 2005 to 2007, you learned everything. So
Right.
they were a little bit ahead of their time. You even had to take an online journalism class. So they kind of saw where that was going with online journalism. Social media wasn't as big of a thing, but we
No,
learned online, radio, TV, print. You had to do a little bit of everything.
I think MySpace was huge at that time. If we're talking
Yeah.
like you said, 2007.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, that was definitely a big thing. MySpace at that time for sure. On here with Don White, multimedia journalist, 11 Alive on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. Don, I'm going to ask you some favorite questions. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon these questions. Are you with me?
And actually, I am no longer at 11 Alive, so I moved to Texas. So I'm in Dallas now at the CBS O&O.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate you updating me on that. That's for sure. No doubt. Okay. Out there in Dallas. I like that. I have family out there in Texas, so I have affinity for Texas for sure.
Mhm. Yep.
No
Go
question.
Cowboys,
Uh,
except when they
well,
play the Ravens.
well, I can't really say that too loud because my aunt's from Philadelphia. My aunt and uncle is from Philadelphia. So they are
Uh,
definitely not Cowboy fans. But I have no dog in the fight. I just want to see a good game between two good teams. That's for
yeah,
sure.
big rivals
Okay.
for sure.
I'm surprised. I thought you'd be a Ravens fan before I got into that favorite question. Before a Cowboys fan.
I am. Ravens are my number one team, die hard.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Unless they're playing the Ravens.
Got you. Say less. Okay. So here's my first favorite question. Okay. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Favorite meal, and this is
Hmm.
not when I'm being health or calorie conscious, are cheese enchiladas.
Oh,
I love Mexican food. I don't have a sweet tooth whatsoever. Sweets don't do anything for me, but I do have a little bit of a cheese fetish. So anything with cheese is good. So I stuff the enchiladas with 5 different cheeses,
wow.
Rojo sauce, put cheese on the top,
Okay.
fat-free cheese. So that's a little better, a little healthier.
Okay. I'm gonna have to get a recipe from you and make that. I never have made enchiladas before, but we're going to tap in and see what's up. I like that. Okay.
Just send that to
Favorite.
you.
I appreciate that, no doubt. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
Okay. So I'm gonna date myself here.
Mhm. Okay.
This was way back in the day. John Mayer,
Okay.
who actually is better live than on his, at the time, CDs.
Okay.
Back when cars had CD players, and you would listen to CDs.
I do. Still do.
Just between him and his guitar playing and his stage presence, it was
Okay.
a whole experience.
Yeah, Gravity is still one of my songs that I play to this day of his. It's one of my favorite songs, no question. So I love that.
Definitely a classic.
Okay. I like that. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Out of the country, Grand Cayman Island,
Oh, okay.
that was like walking into a painting. It's just surreal there. It was a cruise, where you stop 3 different places.
Sure.
Sand is white, the water was crystal clear. As soon as you stepped off the cruise ship, they would give you rum drinks and palm trees everywhere, hammocks. So
That's my kind of place, girl. I like that.
you could really lay out and relax.
Mhm.
Baltimore has a special place in my heart in the United States.
Sure.
Just kind of the vibe there, the Inner Harbor. And my mom's from California, so when I go out see my cousins in Ventura, it's a beautiful area and not quite as humid as the East Coast.
No, not at all. That's where I'm from. I'm a Chargers fan, so I was actually raised in San Diego. So that's where I'm from, California. I still have cousins out in the Watts area in Compton for sure. So I try to make it out there every year for sure as well.
Other Harbaugh, you have a new coach, Jim Harbaugh.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Hopefully, we can get some wins more on our side than what we had last year. We had 5 wins last year, so I'm hoping for a little bit more wins this year.
He should be able to improve on that.
I hope so.
Bring some fire in.
I love Baltimore too because my little brother did a co-op down there, so I have an affinity for Baltimore. Love the 7-Elevens out there in Baltimore as well. But I also first time I ever tried oysters was in Baltimore. Never tried oysters ever until I went to Baltimore, and I can honestly say I don't know if I will ever try oysters again, though. I'm not sure if I would do. I'm not sure if I would do that.
I was gonna ask you if you thought they were slimy because a lot of people can't get over the texture.
There was some juice. My stepmom said there's some juice or I think it's lime juice or some kind of juice that you dip into the oysters or something like that. I'm not sure what it is, but no, I'm good. I'm good on the oysters. Give me the shrimp. I'll do seafood.
You can't go to Maryland and not have some blue crabs.
The crab, I did try the crab, and I was cracking it. It was going all over the place and stuff like that. And the crab was pretty good. I like the crab. I like the shrimp. I like that. I just with the other clams and oysters and all that other stuff, I'm like, nah, we can do that. We can keep that pushing. So I was like, okay, I like that.
No gooey stuff.
Hell no, no gooey stuff. No, you're absolutely right. Now, I'm a sports reporter, so I got to ask you a sports question. Favorite sport you like to watch on TV, and also favorite sport you like to be in attendance for?
Both football. Swim close seconds because my son and I were both competitive swimmers.
Okay.
But, having been in Baltimore, when I was in Baltimore and in Jacksonville, I was a new sports hybrid. So Baltimore, I had a weekly player profile series on the Ravens where I pick a different player each week who had an interesting story. And that was really cool, getting to be there on the field, getting to know the guys. So I have a whole collection of Ravens attire as far as shirts, jerseys, jewelry, purple, everything. I try to go to at least a couple games each year. The Ravens are coming here to play the Cowboys.
I was just about to ask you that. Yep.
In my Ravens jersey, and I will be rooting against the Cowboys just in that one game.
Okay. I love that. My favorite Raven of all time is Ray Lewis. No question about it. And then my second one is Ed Reed. Those are my 2 favorite Ravens of all time. My favorite football player is LaDainian Tomlinson, but obviously that's understood with me being a Charger fan. Only time I ever cried at a game, before I get to the next question, was the playoff game where we were the number one seed. We had just, I think I was 19 at the time, 19 years old. And I was like, man, we are going to go to the Super Bowl. We haven't been to the Super Bowl since, I think it was 94, 95 against the 49ers. And we got our tails kicked and we lost to the Patriots that day. I thought that was the best team we ever had. So I was crushed. And so everybody was in the arena too. My only football playoff game I went to as well. So yeah, I was crushed.
What's
Sure.
the Patriots? In that era, the Patriots were the team to beat. So you're going to beat anyone.
It might as well be them, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel it. Now, my last of the favorites is restaurant. Favorite restaurant that you like to go to?
I have to think about this.
Give me a couple. Give me a couple restaurants.
Because I've been in so many different cities,
Yeah.
my career, 5 different states. I kind of have a favorite city in each one.
Okay.
In Baltimore, I liked Fogo de Chão in the Inner
I know what
Harbor.
you're talking about. Yep.
A Brazilian steakhouse where they would come around and
You flip it over from red to green. Yep. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
when I was in Pennsylvania with the love of Mexican food, a little place called La Hacienda that had the most amazing queso and chips, and of course, cheese enchiladas. In Florida, there were a lot of places on the beach.
Right.
There was an Irish pub there that I really liked a lot, owned by 5 sisters who were from Ireland, had the accent and everything.
Wow.
Here, I haven't found a place yet, but done a lot of orders being delivered. And
Sure.
there's an Asian bistro down the street that has really good lo mein and chicken, actually Indian food. So in Atlanta, there was an Indian restaurant that was my favorite. Real authentic Indian, spicy. I kind of, whether it's Mexican or Indian, I kind of like the food where your face turns red and your sinuses get cleared out. So real nice.
I feel that. I feel that. Okay. I definitely am the opposite of that for sure. Because spice ain't nice with this body. That's for sure.
You get all sweaty.
No. Yeah. It's just not a good scene when I eat some spicy food. Although I do like hot sauce. Hot sauce is good, but that's not really. I don't consider that really spicy food. Like you're talking about. Indian got
Not
a
like
little
jalapenos or
right. So something like that. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, absolutely. I totally know what you're talking about. I want to talk to you about your day to day. Like when Dawn wakes up in the morning, what in the world does she do from day to day? Now, as you know, as journalists, every day is different, right? You have a different story, different interview, different everything. So, what is it like when you have to go into the station? What is it like when you have to go out on assignment and be an MMJ? Do you have somebody to carry your equipment, or are you carrying the equipment? I mean, what is it like? Talk to me.
So here in Dallas for CBS News Texas, so every other month I'm on what's called the Epic team, which is almost like special projects where you get more time to work on stories, which I'm very fortunate to be able to do, and love that and love the management here to be able to do quality stories. So this month I'm on Epic. I'm on Epic 3 days a week where I am MJ. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And with that, you really get involved in the community, tell community stories. I have one that I'm working on that's going to air this week on homeless veterans.
Awesome.
I went to the Tarrant County Homeless Coalition, talked to them. Their homelessness in the county among veterans has been reduced 42%.
Right.
In the last 5 years. And then also spoke to a former Army veteran. He's had a home for about 7 years now. He used to live in his car with his dog.
Wow.
His dog ate better than him. Stories, you could get 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, so they could be more long form. I did one that I really liked with the visuals and the nats about a former jail in
Sure.
North Wales that was turned into the country's largest music recording studio.
Mm.
I found out when I was there that it's also haunted. And
Wow.
there's it's on a couple episodes of a TV show and a podcast as well.
Wow. Okay.
So during the week, I carry my own stuff. If I don't go to the gym, I don't feel bad. So during the week, write, report, shoot, edit, come up with story ideas, social media. I try to do multi-camera shoots.
Hmm.
So I have your traditional camera, GoPro, and
Yep.
a GoPro. So I try to incorporate at least 2 cameras in most shoots. And then on the weekend, I'm mornings. So
Okay.
Saturdays, 4 live shots, Sunday, 1 live shot. And then you do a package for the evening show. On the weekends, typically the photographers will shoot the package and then I edit it.
Okay.
And the first thing I do when I get up, so I have one bad habit, and that's energy drinks. So
Oh, okay.
first that touches my lips in the morning is energy drink.
Okay. Hmm. Okay. I'm with that. I'm with that.
So everything in moderation.
So what time do you normally say, okay, yo, I'm checking out for the night, checking out for the evenings. I see y'all. Because like we said, journalists don't have that normal 9 to 5, you know what I mean? So it's sometimes you can get breaking news. Sometimes you can have extended days where you have to work longer days. What is your clock out time?
I really only have a clock out time one day during the week.
Hmm.
And a lot of people say, oh, when you get home, don't do anything work related. But when you love what you do, it's kind of hard to
Right.
clock out.
Right.
So within reason, I'm still working, I'm still looking on social media, I'm still talking to sources, trying to find story ideas. Even though I've been in the business 16 years, I think you can always get better. You can always
Absolutely.
improve and learn. So I want to learn at least one new skill a week, whether that's shooting, editing, writing. I'm finally caving in and getting a TikTok. So starting off with that. So the only day where I try to clock out completely is on
Hmm.
my Saturday, which
Okay.
is Monday. And that's also my hibernation day. So I'll sleep in as late as I can,
Yep.
get up, try to spend a couple hours on the couch watching TV, chilling out, maybe take my dogs for a walk.
Sure. I love that. I love that. That's awesome. It really is. What is something like someone comes up to you, Dawn, and they says, look, I want to do what you do. What is some advice that you would give somebody that wants to break into this industry as an MMJ, as a reporter in this industry?
As far as breaking in, a couple different things. One is working hard and going the
Mhm.
extra mile. You never want to do the bare minimum. So, like at University of Maryland, I volunteered for every single thing that there was to do. Whether,
Sure.
the Spanish newspaper, writing in Spanish, the radio show, I would volunteer for Capital News Service and go and do camera.
Okay.
And you want to absorb as much as you can. Contacts is another big thing.
Yes.
Never be afraid to reach out to news directors directly. Pretty much all of my jobs have been from reaching out to the news director, whether it
Mm.
was on Twitter or on email, just saying, hey, I'm going to be in the area. I would love to stop by and see the station, or here's my reel. I would love some feedback. And that way, like my first on-air job, I
Mhm.
started out on the assignment desk for 2 years. My
Right.
first on-air job, I talked to the news director for a year and a half before he hired me. And
Wow.
finally, when he had a position that he thought was a good fit, he called me and offered it. So persistence is another big thing. I could probably be living in like a 50,000 square foot mansion if I got paid every time someone told me to get out of the business. You
Mm,
know, a lot of times well-meaning, just, to begin with the money not being great, which if you stick with it, eventually you'll be in a better situation, whether it was the money or the hours or the drive or having
yeah,
to move around, countless
yeah,
people. Why don't you get out and be in PR? But you have to do whatever makes you happy and what makes you feel fulfilled each day, because then you don't feel like you're going to work. And once you get into the business, what I tell interns is the most important thing is to stay calm.
hmm,
Because once you start losing it and you start freaking out, not only does it not change anything, but everything goes downhill.
right.
Doing what's in your control.
No, I like that. I like that. On here with Dawn White, who's now affiliated out of Dallas, Texas for CBS, multimedia journalist on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. I love that answer, but also love asking that question as well. Me being in this position for about 5 years now, combination of Atlanta, that's where I started. That's where I got my undergrad. Um, in journalism. And then I've also transitioned out here to Minnesota, where I do sports reporting, covering different stories, writing different stories, editing. You talked about picking up skills. I never knew how to shoot. I never did photography when I was out there in Atlanta. All I did was write stories, edit stories, and do stuff like that. But I learned how to page design. I learned how to edit photos. I learned how to shoot photos. I learned how to get the right angle from different perspectives of football games, basketball games, and stuff like that. But I also think it's very important to what you said about staying calm, because it kind of segues to this next question, which is mental health. A lot of the times you hear different things such as burnout, um, overworked, underpaid. Those words you hear a lot. They're kind of synonymous with our industry. How do you keep your mental health strong? Like you said, you've been in this game for 16 years. Me being kind of an older journalist, because I got my start kind of late. I'm now in my 30s. I'm kind of more processed in my brain to be like, okay, I could handle something that may seem overwhelming to somebody coming out of college. How do you process your mental health and also maintain that work-life balance, being in the industry so long, but also having a son too, being a mother?
You have to find an outlet, a healthy outlet. Some journalists will come home and want to be, having a drink each night. So my outlet is working out. So if
Yep.
I really feel like I'm stressed out, I had a day that didn't go how I hoped, or the story was challenging, or it was sad, or in Atlanta and in Baltimore, there's a lot of homicides that we had to report on that, being a human, that affects you.
Sure.
Weightlifting is a big thing for me. I feel like after a good weightlifting session, you feel a lot better. Going outside, I take my dogs for walks
Mhm.
and just kind of making sure that you have a good support system, people who understand you, feel that you can talk to, whether it's family or friends, and realizing what is in your control.
Mm,
Because a lot of things, might not be in your control if, you know, like, oh, I feel like I'm reporting on a sad story every day. I mean, that
right.
might you have to do, but just trying to make the most of it. And, with covering the sad stories, I would look at it as, okay, I'm giving the family a voice. I'm giving them an outlet that they can speak, bringing attention to this issue.
Hmm.
And also your perspective is a big thing. So I had a saying that I came up with in college that I try to live by, that it's not what happens to you that determines your happiness, but your perspective on the situation.
Okay.
So the same thing can happen to two people, but they can take it or process it totally different way.
Definitely. Yeah.
So just trying to have a positive outlook as much as possible. And I think having my son and having him when I was in college and when I was in the business early on really made me persistent that I'm not going to give up. I don't care if it's a tough day. I'm going to keep on going. My mom also does have her doctorate in psychology, so that probably helps.
That does help quite a bit. I'm a mama's boy too, so I understand. I totally get that.
Where if you need to, you call your mom and you vent, and then,
Yep.
offer a great perspective or something you didn't think of. And, a lot of times it just helps talking and understanding that you don't have to be okay 100% of the time. You're going to have days where you might feel anxiety or depression, and that it's okay to feel that and experience that.
Without question. I mean, especially with me moving here to Minnesota, I had no family out here. My dad is in upstate New York with my stepmom and my little brother. And my mother's also in Georgia with my aunt and my uncle, which, obviously me being a grown man, I understand that. I live by myself. I'm a bachelor. I get that. But at the same time, I'm a huge family person. And I'm somebody who just loves talking to them. I love calling them, love checking on them, seeing how they're doing. That definitely affected my mental health at first because we know sports is nights and weekends. So we know that I get off at midnight most nights, right? And who you gonna hang out with at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Monday night? I mean, that's just not gonna happen a whole lot of the time. So you have to try to find ways, like you said, working out. I like to work out as well. I like to write poetry as well. I'm a poetry writer. I'm somebody who enjoys sports quite a bit. Obviously, I cover it, but I love going to see it as well. So I don't mind seeing professional sports or even minor league sports as well. So I love doing that. So I definitely understand that work life and that social or work life, I should say, mental health kind of balance. Having a great support system does help. And like you said, you don't have to be okay 100% of the time. But before I get into this next question, we got to give you your flowers. And not just you, but a lot of ladies and people especially ladies, but people in journalism, they see you on the TV all the time. They see you at 5, 6, 11, or whatever times, and they see the beautiful face. They see you giving all kind of news and information on your story, but they really don't have a perspective of what's going on behind the scenes. It takes a lot for you to get in front of the camera to do what you do, as far as writing, shooting, editing, right? What if sources cancel on you late and then all of a sudden you got to come up with something else? What if you go into a neighborhood that might not be as safe? And it's not many people, right? It's only maybe one or one other person with you.
But yeah, I've almost I was shot at twice for stories.
Right. So people don't know that, right? People don't see that. People only see what they see on TV. They don't understand that unfortunate thing happened to you. So you definitely need your flowers to be given to you because you work extremely hard at what you do. And like to reiterate what I said, you have to be passionate with what you do. And I thank you for being the way that you are. And I tell it to everybody that's on this Work Hard, Play Harder podcast because it's really important to be appreciated. And I definitely appreciate you as well. And I'm sure many people do.
Likewise.
So no doubt, no question. The bonus question did come up in my mind though, which was you do hard and soft news, Dawn. So, hard news, obviously we talked about the Arbery story, right? That was pretty hard, right? Talking to the dad, talking to the mom, just the family in general, right? So tell me, is it hard for you to separate yourself? When you first started in the industry, was it hard for you to separate yourself and not bring those hard news stories home as it is to now, or is it still hard for you now to this day?
It's still hard. Nothing's changed since I was an intern in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and
Yep.
saw the first dead body. Nothing's changed. I think how I kind of the purpose behind it has changed. Before it would be oh my God, like there's a dead body. Oh my God, this is so sad. I can't believe this. And now I have a purpose to it, not only with my work, but with my life. So like two weekends ago, I covered a fire captain's funeral. and he passed away pretty young. So that just kind of gives you the perspective of, living your life the right way, living every day to the fullest,
Right.
not holding grudges, not having any regrets,
Sure.
telling the people that you're close to that you love them, and having that purpose of trying to create change and to give people a voice. Because I would say probably the two most rewarding stories that I've done in my career are both very heavy, sad stories. And that's the Ahmaud Arbery case,
Sure.
which I started covering in Jacksonville, Florida, when I was at First Coast News, because technically that was part of the Jacksonville market.
Yep.
So I covered the state trial and also the federal hate crimes trial. I was put up in a hotel, having 15-hour days, dealing with pretty graphic testimony and some really disturbing things.
Sure.
But, just being able to give that family a voice and for people to see, what's really going on, that was so rewarding, and getting close to the family and understanding them and what they were going through. Another story was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, when I was at ABC 27 in 2016, where there was a puppy that was left for dead on a farm in Lancaster County and Amish County.
Right.
And to begin with, no one was picking it up. It was kind of downplayed. Oh, this isn't as bad as it looks. This isn't a story. And when anyone tells you this isn't a story, it is a story.
Absolutely.
The rescue, they got me some paperwork showing that he was a severely neglected dog. His name is Libre. He does have a happy ending. He really shouldn't be here now, but he pulled through, even though he was covered in maggots, didn't have any hair on him, literally was left for dead. So I followed his story for recovery, and then also followed for another year until it passed Libre's Law, which created a felony punishment for severe animal abuse or neglect in Pennsylvania.
Sure. Wow.
Before that, it was just a misdemeanor was the highest charge. So Libre's breeder, who admitted to police, put him out and left him to die, got a $900 fine, because that was the most severe punishment. So now for other animals in Pennsylvania, if something bad happens to them, it can be an imprisonment of up to 5 years in prison and a monetary fine. So, just seeing that and being a part of that change to help animal welfare in the state, that was probably, those two are my tops as far as feeling like you're making a difference.
Sure. Absolutely. And I'm a huge dog lover. I'm a dog lover. And on one of your reels, you had a dog story, which I couldn't believe that the owners would treat their animals like that. I mean, that's just awful. I mean, there's no other words to really describe it. I would never ever throw dogs out of a window or anything like that. I could have sworn that's what you were saying that they were doing and
Yeah,
reporting.
that was in Clayton County, where the officer said, so a woman was boarding and there were piles of feces like 3 feet tall in the house, and
Right.
2 dogs, and they got out of hand and they were all related. So I guess she was trying to get rid of what she thought was the evidence. So the animal control spokesperson said as they were rolling up that they saw dogs being thrown out the window.
I mean, what the hell is people thinking nowadays? That's absolutely crazy. It makes no sense. But it's a beautiful thing, like you said. Those are tragic stories to cover, but it's also wonderful to hear that you're bringing a light to these stories, because no one would know about these stories unless we would go out into these communities and report them, right? So I love that. I love the fact that you do that. That's amazing. Perfect transition now for this and that. I kind of want to throw 2 things at you, and then I want you to choose one or the other. Are you with me?
Okay. This sounds interesting.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun, no doubt. Here we go. So this first one is Popeyes or KFC?
KFC.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that. Here we go. Are you a chicken wing eater?
Yes.
Okay. Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Barbecue.
Okay. Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Wet. Lots of sauce.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. And bone in or boneless?
Bone in. And I like drums more than wings.
Oh, okay. I like that. I like drums more than wings too. So, okay, we vibe on that. I like that. All right. These next four questions have to do with concerts that you rather attend. Okay. So
Okay.
here we go. Which concert would you rather attend, Monica or Brandy?
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm. I figured it would
Uh,
be.
and they're both still in the business and doing well.
Yep.
I that one's close. Maybe Brandy.
Okay. Okay. I would have chose Brandy too, but it is close because I do like Monica as well. Okay. Which concert would you rather go see? Chris Brown or Usher?
Usher.
Okay, you was pretty solid on that one.
Yeah.
That was not tough
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think he's
Okay.
a great singer, very talented, a great performer and dancer. I think
Mm-hmm.
he did have a residency in Las Vegas. He still might. So I would love to see that.
He
Yeah, quite
does.
quite handsome as well. So
Okay. Okay. I like that. And Usher definitely is one of the best musicians to ever do it. No question about it. This next one here might get you a little bit. Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Drake.
Oh, you was definitive on that one too. Okay.
Mhm.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
pretty
like that.
big Drake fan. I like his music. I like his videos, his music videos. I think he's kind of crazy. Interesting. The one where he's on the back of the trash truck.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about. That's the one with him and Future, I believe. That's the one
I
with him
think
and
so.
Future. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hypothetical, of course. Would you rather see Janet Jackson or Whitney Houston in concert?
Mm. They're both extremely talented, but I feel like I would have to go with Whitney Houston because I think she's probably, if not the best female singer in history, top three. I mean, just her vocals are amazing.
Oh,
Uh,
she's one. She's number one to me. She's definitely number one. But I would go with Janet because Janet puts on quite a show. But it's hard. It's
oh yeah,
hard between
she's
those
more of a
two.
dancer.
Right. She puts on quite a show. You know what I mean? So I like that. I like those answers. Okay. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Basketball or baseball?
Basketball.
Okay. So do you like what's your favorite basketball team?
Hmm. Actually, the Mavericks.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now you know we rivals. You do know we rivals, right?
Yeah, I do know that. I do know.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm actually going to game one tomorrow. So
That's
um
exciting.
yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be fun. It was a hefty ticket price. I ain't gonna lie about that one, but that's okay. It was pretty good. It's worth it because how many times you get to say you get to go to the Western Conference Finals? That's something. So that's pretty cool.
Hey, Kyrie Irving, can't go
Right.
wrong with
Right.
that.
Absolutely. Ant-Man, Carl Anthony Towns is going to be a really, really good game one, I think. It's going to be interesting. Okay. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
I have done bowling.
Hmm.
That didn't turn out very well.
Oh,
So, so I would say badminton because I'm decent at tennis, and
hmm,
it's kind of the same principles. So I
hmm.
think I would have much more success with badminton than all the gutter balls with bowling.
Okay. I like that. Now, mind you, I do have a couple Dallas trips planned out myself. One of them is because of a career fair that's happening there in June. I plan on going there. And then another one is actually the baseball career fair, which I'm probably going to be coming there in December. So I may have to test your skills. I may have to hit you up when I'm there for sure.
Badminton.
Well, badminton, tennis. I like tennis too. So tennis is
Mhm.
one of my favorite
Yeah,
sports. So,
definitely. Bowling, you would just get entertainment with that.
right,
It
right.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
close.
I wanted to be somewhat competitive. You said you pretty somewhat good at badminton. Tennis. I'm somewhat good in badminton, but I really do like tennis. I'm just awful at it, but I really do like tennis for sure. But when I'm in the Dallas area, I'll definitely hit you up for sure. No question.
Sounds good.
So these next three that we have, are you a potato chips eater? You like potato chips?
I love potato chips. I try
Okay.
not to eat them because I'm pretty
Okay.
health conscious. When
Okay.
I do, I get the baked potato chips where I
Okay.
feel like I'm being a little bit better. And if I'm really going all out, I love some French onion dip.
Oh, okay. French onion dip. Okay, I like that. Okay, so let's see. We'll switch this up a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the music. I always have the music stuff for you. These concerts here. Now, are you a pop person? Do you like pop music?
I do.
Okay. So which concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Cardi B or Nicki Minaj?
Cardi B.
Okay, Cardi B fan. I like that. All right. Which concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Sweetie or Megan Thee Stallion?
Mm. Sweetie, I think she's also a Cancer. I'm a Cancer.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Okay.
so I do like her music. It's a little bit more subdued than Megan Thee
Mhm.
Stallion. That's another close one.
Right.
I have to go with Sweetie.
Okay. I like that. I probably will go with Sweetie too, be honest with you. No doubt. No question. Okay. And this last one on this or that is going to have to do with cities. Okay, you say you've been in 5 different places, so I'm gonna throw this out there again. Which city would you rather live in again? Right? Would you rather go back to Baltimore or would you rather be in Atlanta?
So I might get some hate for this one. There's
Hey,
definitely not a right answer with this.
nope, nope. It's a tough question, no doubt.
Okay. And then I'll explain my reasoning.
Okay, I'll give
Atlanta
you
was
that.
great. Atlanta was great. I love the vibe there. I love the Southern hospitality, the weather.
Of
But
course.
Baltimore holds a very special place in my heart. Going to University of Maryland,
Hmm.
working in Maryland for a while, even during college, covering the Ravens.
Hmm.
It's very, Atlanta and Baltimore are both very diverse, so they both have that going. But I spent a lot more time in Baltimore.
Okay,
I was
okay.
only in Atlanta 2.5 years. So I was in the Maryland, Pennsylvania area for 14, 15 years.
Yeah, you got a lot of ties to there, man. I totally understand that. And mind you, I visited Baltimore several times. I do like Baltimore. Very nice city. But obviously, I lived in Atlanta for over 11. So Atlanta's going to have a special affinity for my heart as well. So that's why I got my undergrad. That's why I'm getting my master's in there as well online. So no question that place. But you can't go wrong with either answer for sure.
Yeah, they're both fabulous cities.
Absolutely. This next question I love asking because it's a different kind of question. If Dawn wasn't doing journalism, what career would she have pursued and why?
Like I said, I knew I wanted to do journalism since I was 5, but I did
Yeah.
have some other interests. There are two other careers
Okay.
that if journalism wasn't a possibility that I would
Hmm.
want to do. One of them is to be a forensic scientist.
Wow.
I've always found that really interesting. Also, even though you're dealing with sad situations, that you're able to help people, help to solve crimes. I think the scientific part of it is interesting. If I'm not watching news, I'm probably watching Investigation Discovery, to be, honest with you, Forensic Files. In college, in the honors program, you could take a whole bunch of really different classes.
Hmm.
One of the classes was death and dying. So the first thing you did is you wrote your obituary,
Okay.
and our field trip was to a funeral home.
Wow. Okay.
So we actually went into the rooms where, the embalming was done. The funeral director got very excited when he saw the professor because she was kind of thin and you could see the veins in her neck.
Sure.
So he's like, "Ah, you'd be really easy to embalm," and got all excited about that. So that's one, forensic science. Another one would be a lawyer.
I can see that. That I can see.
And I wouldn't want to do corporate law. It would be kind of helping out the little guy, the small person who's in a bad situation or being taken advantage of. I
Hmm.
could see myself getting into child advocacy law. My grandpa was a lawyer in LA, and we kind of have a similar personality.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
there's a lot of schooling with that and a lot of determination. But those would be the two things. If I ever retired from journalism, one of those could be a second career.
I love that. I do. I can totally see the lawyer thing because you advocate very well. So I wouldn't mind you representing me at all. No question about it. And I know you would be prepared. That's for one thing that you
Oh
got to be as
yes.
a lawyer. You have to be prepared for your subject and for the defense of anything, right? So I know for me it would probably be theater, probably be acting. I love theater. I love plays, musicals especially. If I wasn't doing sports or journalism and writing stories, I love to be on stage. To be able to be somebody else. I'm Chris every single day. So if I could be somebody else, that'd be fine. That'd be awesome. To act another person, that'd be pretty dope. And I also love doing karaoke. So musicals is something that I love to do. So no
So you
doubt.
could sing, you could do like musical theater or
Hmm.
something
Not
like
no
that.
opera stuff, but like some R&B kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with that. I'm with that. So
Well,
for sure.
Justin Tucker is an amazing opera singer. Have you heard him sing?
No, I have not. I mean,
So
but I wouldn't be surprised. The man can kick 60+ yard field goals, so it wouldn't surprise me that he can sing too.
if you Google Justin Tucker Ave Maria, like your jaw will drop that this big
Mhm.
voice is coming out of him. And when he
Okay.
retires, he might want to go into that as well.
Okay. Okay. Definitely. Probably the greatest field goal kicker of all time played for the Baltimore Ravens,
Mhm.
Justin Tucker. No question. I might have to do that on YouTube when I get done here. This next question has to do with advice. What advice has someone gave you that you hold on dearly to that you still use to this day?
Hmm. That's a good one. As far as career advice or life advice?
Oh, give it to me.
Of course, I'm going to go back to mom.
Okay.
Actually, this has to do with life and career. So I think
Okay.
it helped me in both. So my mom, she always said, I want you to be who you are. I don't want you to be my mini me. I don't want you to be what I want you to be. I want you to be yourself.
Mhm.
So being genuine and completely being yourself, which I think helps in life, but also in this career because people can tell if you're being authentic or not.
Yep.
And in this career, people they want to be watching or listening to someone who's a real person and someone who they can identify with. So even in social media, I'm pretty transparent about my life and, some struggles that I've had, my dogs, which probably they have more fans than I do, I think, on social media. So just completely being yourself, being authentic, not trying to be anyone else, I think is the best advice that I've gotten.
I like that. I do. And that's pretty hard too. It's harder than what people think that is because it's easy to say, don't get me wrong, but people come into the industry and or people graduate from college, I should say, and interns, they look at you on TV like, man, I want to be where she is, or I want to be where he is. I envy that position. I want to be that. Man, what do I got to do to be that? And they don't know if you really be yourself and find your niche, you can be able to thrive in this industry. I know from people kept telling me that all the time. Be yourself, be yourself. And I'm like, I don't know how to be anybody else but Chris Drummond, right? You don't know how to be anybody else but Don White at the end of the day, right? So I think it's harder for younger people to adjust to that than someone who comes in a little older, a little bit more established, or who's been around a little bit and kind of knows, okay, this is the way I should navigate through these waters of this industry, which is one of the main reasons why I have this platform of my Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. But this is a very work hard type of business, but I also play hard too. So when I relax, I like to go out, like to have a good time, but I'm about my business as well. But it's also a great way to let people know what the industry is going to be about. This is not something that's going to be easy. This is not something that's going to be, oh my God, luxurious when you first start out.
Oh
This
no,
is
especially when you're MMJing,
no
because
question.
you always get comments on social media. So I've gotten comments like, "Oh, you're kind of shiny. You should put some powder on." And as an MMJ, that's the last thing on your mind. The
Right,
first thing is telling a good story.
right.
A lot of times with a very tight time constraint.
Without question. And to reiterate, we went back to it, right? Like I said, sources. Sometimes you're on deadline where you got to. I know every time I cover a sports story, we got to get that story out, right? We got to get the story out. I'm writing during the game. I'm getting those quotes from coaches and players right after the game. I have to do that because the story has to be out at a certain time. And people don't know that deadline is real. You miss that deadline, you get dinged. There's no question about it. So this is it's a job that's fulfilling, no question, because it's a job that you never know what you're going to do every single day. You do something different every day. That's enjoyable. But you also know,
My dog Dallas, who's chiming
yep,
in, agreeing with you.
yep, he agreed with me. He said, "Yep." So I know I agree with you. So basically, this is a job that's fulfilling, but it's also a job that if you want to do it, you have to do it with all of your heart and for the right reasons. Is what I'm trying to get at. Sure.
Yep. Not for the glamour, because
Right.
especially now with all the MMJs out there, it doesn't really exist anymore. The days are long, they can be hard. You're going to be running around, like you were saying. I think my record for stories falling through this was in one day, the fifth story worked.
Wow. Wow.
And like I was saying, just staying calm with that, I can't make people get back to me. If they don't get back to me, then move on to the next one.
Absolutely. That's it. You right. Control what you can control, which is something you also said during this interview as well. On here with Don White, CBS affiliate of Dallas, Texas, on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast, multimedia journalist. Now we have came to pretty much the end of the podcast Now, what is something that you want to say that you haven't said already that you would like to say about yourself or anything?
There were a couple things that were coming to mind that I haven't said yet as far as advice.
Sure, come
And
on.
that is the importance of relationships, both in the industry and with your sources. Every single market that I've moved to on my own time, I set up source meetings before my first day at the station. So coming in, my first day, I'll have story ideas. And that's how you really get the exclusives, get the tips, get the scoops, are where people know you and they trust you and they know that you're going to be accurate. And then, the police chief will call you and tell you this, or the person who runs the animal shelter will text you and, give you an exclusive on this. So that's really, really important. I would encourage everyone, as soon as you get in your market, get out there, make source meetings. As far as me personally, the mental health, is a big thing. So I
Yep.
encourage people to kind of find whatever your healthy outlet is. I think working out is a great way to do that. Kind of, always have been active. Was a former competitive swimmer and figure skater. And, that working out isn't just how you look, but it's how it makes you feel. Getting those endorphins going. And, the most important thing is to be passionate about journalism, or it's easy to get burned out.
I love that. I do. And that's really, really good advice. Definitely be passionate about your storytelling. No question about it. And I love that source thing that you said as well, because without sources, we are nothing as journalists. There's no question about that. We need our sources and we love our sources and we need our sources to trust us. But we also, like you said, have to be accurate and professional as well as journalists to maintain those good sources. No question about that. I do need some good Dallas recommendations as far as restaurants and things. Cause like I said, when I come there, we gotta, especially a Mexican restaurant, we gotta hit up one. That's one of my favorite. I love Mexican restaurants. So I need some good recommendations.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good Tex-Mex places here.
Mm,
The Stockyards in Fort Worth are very well known. There's rodeos there. There's a whole bunch of restaurants there. Next weekend, when my son's going to be in town, we're going to try the Cowtown Steakhouse. So
okay.
I'll let you
Keep
know
that
how
keep
that
that one in
is.
mind. Yeah, keep that one in mind because I may do that next month. We may come there and do
If you're going to go and pick your own steak out, whether it's a
that.
filet mignon or sirloin or T-bone, and
Mm,
the Longhorns twice a day, they actually walk them through the streets where the
wow.
stockyards are. So you get to see Longhorns in person.
Yeah, that's my favorite restaurant. My favorite restaurant is Longhorn Steakhouse, no question about it. Because of the cinnamon bread, if you know what I'm
Okay.
talking
I
about.
thought you were going to say the peanuts.
Oh, I'm allergic to peanuts.
Okay, so definitely not that.
No, not that at all, not that at all. But the cinnamon bread, no doubt about that. Plus, you got to tell me when you do go to the Dallas game, because in December I do plan on going to a Cowboys game out there. So you definitely have to tell me about that for sure. That's how that atmosphere is. I don't know if you've been there or not yet, but if you have,
I
and
haven't.
you,
September
okay,
22nd is when the Ravens come here, so I'll let you know how that is. Most
please
of the
do,
games are pretty good. Anytime the Ravens and Steelers played each other,
boy.
but usually in the second half, you'd always see ambulances showing up because people getting in fights.
Mm-hmm.
So those games are pretty intense.
Okay.
But, I see Cowboys, Ravens being a little more chill.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be chill. More so than Ravens and Steelers. I mean, they got a long history between those two teams. But that's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what good football is. Good football is that, no question about it. So I appreciate you, girl, hopping on my podcast, talking to me, and I'm getting to know you a little bit, getting to know about you and your why, your storytelling. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday evening, and please don't be a stranger.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No doubt. Anytime. You take care.
Yeah, you too.